Hey everybody, welcome back to Tech Odyssey. So I'm back with a special video. I think I've been saying that a lot lately. Been a lot of special videos. But what I have here is my iPhone SE 2020 model. Now I wanted to go ahead and do my 72-hour review on the phone, talk about some of the performance, the specs, talk about my experience with it, what I'm seeing so far, what's nice, what's not nice, all that good stuff. But either way, here we are with the iPhone SE 2020 edition. Let's go ahead and dive in and take a closer look at this and talk about the new SE. Before we get into that, I do want to say if this is your first time stopping by the channel, I appreciate you being here. If you like the video, please hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell so you can get updates on the latest videos. Now, let's check it out. All right, so here we are with the iPhone SE 2020 edition. So first things first, I want to talk about the specs. Won't spend too much time talking about it, but there have been some significant changes since the last iPhone SE. Now, what we're running now is the A13 Bionic chip in here. That's the same processor you've got in the iPhone 11, the 11 Pro, and the 11 Pro Max. So some really serious stuff there. iOS 13, 3 gigabytes of RAM in here, 1821 milliamp battery, which is the same as the iPhone 8, coincidentally. And a lot of this stuff, it's best to compare it with the iPhone 8 and not the original iPhone SE, because they put it, of course, in the iPhone 7, iPhone 8 chassis, IP67 water resistance. It's also got the same, or it may be the same. It's got the 7 megapixel front-facing selfie camera, the 12 megapixel in the back, capable of 4K video at 60 frames per second, which is nice. Wireless charging, like I said, 1821 milliamp battery, maybe a little bit of battery life improvement over the iPhone 8, but other than that, it runs really well. It's nice running the latest iOS 13, 4.7-inch screen. You've got Touch ID with the fingerprint sensor on the front. So there's been a lot of stuff that has changed and a lot of stuff that hasn't changed, because so many of us have been used to the Touch ID-less world now, running Face ID since the iPhone 10, then the 10s, now we got it with the 11, so it's kind of a blast from the past. It's been interesting to use this the last couple of days because I'm so used to swiping everything, swipe up, swipe left, all that stuff. There are some swipe gestures that are integrated into here, so like swiping back on like Twitter and Slack and some other things like that, but fundamentally, you have to interact for the menu buttons using the home button. So instead of swiping up, it's the old double tap, double press on the fingerprint sensor. If you want to take a screenshot, you have to hit the power button and the fingerprint sensor at the same time. So it has been a little bit of change for me to get used to that, going back, especially since I've been using a bunch of Android and BlackBerry phones lately. Now, the colors are really nice. You've got this cool product red edition, which is what drew me in to the iPhone 8 originally. The red, product red, totally love it. And it's cool too because proceeds of that, some of it goes to the AIDS research and relief and all that good stuff. So now what they're doing with this one, even though it says for AIDS relief in the packet, it's actually going towards COVID-19. I don't know if it's going towards both of them, but that's what it's supposed to be doing with this one. They also have a black and a white model. I actually have the white model as well here. If you watch my unboxing, so you can see I've got both of these. I didn't get the black one. Not quite at that level in my life to go out and buy 3 different ones of these. But either way, red and white looks nice. You don't have a whole lot of other crazy colors that go along with it, and it definitely differentiates itself from the original iPhone 8. So the camera, it takes pretty good shots. I went out and walked around. There's a wildlife trail around here. I went out. It was nice and not a whole lot of people. Relatively safe. Out breathing some nature air and all that good things. So I took some pictures. Here you can see some of the samples. I was really impressed with it, especially the close-up photography. And of course, you can tell that it's an Apple camera. All their cameras, they look kind of distinct, especially from the Androids, particularly if you compare it with the Samsung, which of course likes to oversaturate things and has a bit cooler temperature to the images. But I was really impressed, took good pictures. And at $399, you're totally not going to be disappointed with this at all. I used FaceTime with my kids. That worked out well, even though it's a 7 megapixel sensor. Perfectly fine. That's what was on the iPhone 8. And it looked good, even with the close to 720p resolution. It's like 750 or something. Yeah, 750 resolution, 750p, whatever. It's really not that big of a deal. Screen is small. It looks good. It looks crisp. With 4.7 inches, you're really not going to notice much between 1080p and especially not Quad HD Plus at this resolution, or sorry, at this screen size. Performance is top notch. I've been testing it out. The battery has gotten me about 4.5 to 5 hours the last 2 days. So I think that that's okay. It seems like it's better than the iPhone 8 was, and the iPhone 8 I totally loved. It's just that the battery life was not all that great. Other incremental upgrades, if you want to call it that, they moved the Apple logo down and centered it so it matches the rest of the phones now. In addition to that, yes, you have the iPhone 8 housing on here with the iPhone 11 processor in it, but one nice thing is, and people have kind of talked about this, you're going to get longer software support, even though Apple is still supporting like the iPhone, I think they're still supporting the original iPhone SE and the 6S. So one other important feature that a lot of people aren't really talking about is you are going to have expanded LTE bands and coverage on here. So LTE band 71 is a part of this device, so you can get better high-speed LTE data out in more rural areas. So that's nice, especially with like the T-Mobile expansion. And of course, they released that spectrum over the last couple of years that's trickled out to the major carriers. So you will have better signal, and especially in certain areas, and connectivity than you will with the iPhone 8 and earlier model phones. They did, like I said, bump it up to 3 gigabytes of RAM over 2 with the iPhone 8 and also the iPhone SE. So there's been a lot of significant things that will make this phone good for now and also good for later. And really, it's really nice being able to use a phone with one hand. And that's something that I've really experienced the last couple of days. Having used the LG V60, the Samsung Galaxy S20 Ultra, and a lot of other devices over the last couple of weeks, it's really refreshing to just be able to pick up and use a phone one-handed. I do wish I had a case for it. It's not overly slick. It's got the glass back and all that good stuff so you can do your wireless charging. But it does feel a little frail because it's so small and sleek. So hoping to get some cases for it. But otherwise, I've really been enjoying using it. It's been a nice change of pace. Of course, the only hangups I really have are when I'm like doing some media consumption or serious browsing using my phone for a long period of time. I do kind of miss having a 6-inch screen or a 6.8-inch screen as opposed to a 4.7. But solid phone. Got the black face on here instead of the white. It looks really, really good, especially with the red back. It totally looks cool. Used to be you would have to take the face off of a different one and put it on here so you could get this look. So I'm glad that they did that. And overall, it's just a solid device. There are a lot of people that have a lot of hangups over this, and I think some people kind of miss the boat when it comes to the purpose for this phone. If you're using a $1,000 flagship phone, this is not something that's going to be like, oh, I left my iPhone 11 Pro for an iPhone SE. I doubt that maybe there's like 2 or 3 people that really just don't like that big of a phone and want something that has the same power essentially in a smaller frame. But this is designed for people who have been using the iPhone 6, the 6S, the 7, the 8, all that jazz, the original SE. It gives them an opportunity to upgrade, still keep the fingerprint sensor, but not miss out on the performance, not miss out on the longevity. And then for people who are kind of getting into the introductory Apple market and maybe they're using a smaller or less expensive Android phone and they want to move over to iPhone, but they don't want to spend $600, $700, $800, $900,000 to get an iPhone. This is a really, really good opportunity for somebody to get in at a, I don't want to say budget because $400 is still expensive, but it really is kind of budget when you think about it in terms of iPhone, because the other iPhones have been so expensive and they've gotten monumentally more expensive over the last couple of years. So there are a lot of compelling reasons to move to something like this if you're in the market. I think it's going to be very disruptive out in the mid-tier Android market because really there's not a whole lot that I think competes on this with the same appeal in the same price point as, maybe like the Pixel 3a, but it's already a year old now. We're waiting for the Pixel 4a to come out. So that might be something that would be a good alternative. But otherwise, short of going out into the used market, you're not going to find something with this much power, this much performance, these capabilities. And of course, once you get locked into it, you've got the entire Apple ecosphere. You've got Apple Pay, you've got the Apple Card, you've got Apple TV, you've got iTunes, you've got Apple Music, you've got the Apple Arcade, you've got so much stuff. So it's not just a phone, it's a gateway into the entire world of Apple, where there may be lots of things that are out there that you've been missing out on that you're interested in, and now you can do it at a much less expensive price point. So I've really been enjoying this. Totally cool. It's very refreshing. Of course, it's not something I'm leaving my other phones for. I bought this myself. I'm testing it out because I wanted to. I like the device. I really love the iPhone 8. And yeah, I'm having fun with it. So I'm going to do my full review here in the next couple of weeks, as I've got a ton of time to really go into it. But if you're on the fence about it, if you're wondering if it's the real deal, it is. The only concern that I really have right now, of course, is the battery life. I did test it on 18-watt power delivery 2.0. It does the first 50% battery in like 30 minutes, and then it takes like another hour to get to 100%. So like an hour and a half or hour and 45 minutes to charge it total. It's just how the batteries work. But either way, the charging is not terrible, especially for the first 50%. But like I said, it's getting me about 4.5 to 5 hours screen on time. Of course, you can turn the brightness down, auto brightness, all that good stuff will impact how long the battery will last. But overall, I think for a normal, I don't want to say average consumer, because what the heck is average? A semi-normal regular person walking on the street who's not a tech nerd, this should get you probably through the day. Likely it'll get you from like 8 to 5, no problem. But you might if you use it a lot, you might be in the mood or the market to top off before you go home, or have to put it on the charger when you get home. But it should get you through a full work day, I think, without too much headache or hassle. So that's all I've got on my 72-hour review of the iPhone SE 2020 model. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them down in the comments section. I'll get back with you. Like I said in the beginning, if you enjoyed the video, please hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell so you can get updates on the latest videos. As always, thanks for watching. I appreciate you being here, and I'll see you guys next time.